My candle keeps cracking. We got some spiritual activity in here from the last video that I just did, last story I just read. So if you guys are not aware, welcome to another KRIK video. If you guys are like, what the fuck is up with the energy with the intro at, y'all? The last video I read took so much energy out of me. I'm nauseous. I don't feel well. My candle's crackling. There's a lot going on. So, allo oui, bonsoir. Welcome. As you guys already know, when I say KRIK, you guys comment down KRAK. And this is the segment where you guys send in your stories to this email right here, not my business one. And we basically all give our opinions on it. When you guys are sending in your stories, please disguise all the names and stuff for privacy and safety reasons, okay? Because if you don't, we're going to have some issues. All right, we're going to have some issues, and I ain't trying to get in none of y'all spiritual warfare because I read a damn story. Make sure you get your tea, you get your snacks. I got my pretzels. I got my water. So, yeah, let's get into it. Hey, Yvana, thank you for spelling my name correctly. I just wanted to tell you a story of my own for your KrikKrak videos. To start with, I am a white pagan witch who mostly practices the Norse traditions, but I do also observe and worship other gods and goddesses. Goddesses? That sounds so weird. If it's culturally appropriate, whenever they call out to me. That's very interesting. I don't think I've ever had a pagan witch reach out to me. I deeply respect real witches, okay, which are typically pagan witches. And I absolutely love the Norse culture. So shout outs to you. I am a twin. We were both born with psychic abilities, including telepathy, pain empathy, seeing and sensing entities that aren't physically there, and talking to them. I, however, was the more gifted one out of the two of us. I would have full-blown psychic visions, would hop into my twin's dreams, and would be able to gain information from other people and entities in my dreams. Hey, welcome. I have that gift as well, the information from the dreams thing. I grew up in an abusive family cult and demonic infested house. Well, that's a lethal combination. A lethal combo for a psychic child, yeah. I won't go into much detail on the family cult situation, but every time my parents did a vile act against us, my twin sister and I couldn't look at them because we saw what was really in control. Oh, God. That is terrifying, especially as a child. As a kid, I was able to see that shit. Like the demons that would surround people. I'm happy I can't see that shit now. It's more of a sense now. And it's more of like, I see it in my dreams, thank God. But back in the day, I was able to do the same thing, and that shit was crazy. And it wasn't them. Every night in our sleep, we would hear our names being called throughout the house by a male and a female voice. And the nights we didn't hear them were the most terrifying of all for me, Jesus. I would have visions of my mom and dad. I would see the spiritual warfare going on within that house. It was so much that it was as if the house itself was a living being. Oh my God. There was even a time when I was a teen that the house came alive when I was awake. What does that even mean? Oh my God. I had forgotten something in the house. So I went back in and my nostrils were immediately assaulted by the scent of pennies. Oh my God. Every wall in the house was red and dripping with some kind of substance, presumably blood. Sage, can you stop? I ran out of there, gave myself a few minutes to calm down, do my protections, and went back in to get what I needed. The house looked completely normal when I walked back in. However, as much fear as stuff like that gave me, it paled in comparison to the fear that I had against humans and the many abusive, vile acts done against me. Even as a child, I was heavily protected spiritually. You see, the house I grew up in had 8 entities in it at all times. Sometimes they were more, but there were always the staple 8 that stayed. There were 6 good ones and 2 demons. Oh, Lord. I spent more time with the good spirits than I did with my mom and dad. They were the ones who taught me life skills. They babysat me and my twin when we were locked up for multiple days. What type of cult were you in? Like, I feel so bad for people that grow up in cults because there's a lot that goes into that. They were the ones who always protected me. They were the ones to show me what true kindness and love was in spite of all the abuse I suffered. I'm so sorry you had to go through all of that. These spirits even saved my life twice growing up. They led me towards witchcraft, got me out of the family cult, and my spiritual protection has grown in numbers since then. One of my childhood spirit caretakers revealed themselves to be none other than Hecate herself. Oh, wow. Hecate lit. You got Hecate with you? Period. The mother to the motherless witches. Yeah. She don't play, though. Hecate is one of those spirits, like, if you fucking with her, you gotta have your life in order because she's just not about to sit there and help any and everyone. Like, she really not. Fearless caretaker and protector of those less fortunate. I spell her name with a K instead of a C. She initiated me by leading me to get a tattoo of herself on my arm. I didn't know why I was drawn to it. I didn't know what or who was being depicted. How the fuck you get a tattoo and you don't even know what you honestly that's another conversation for another time. But the whole tattoo thing is like, you need to be careful what you tattoo on yourself. You can't just be tatting anything. All I knew was that the artist had been called to draw up this design, and he has waited for the perfect person to put it on for 8 years. Oh, wow. After I had it on my arm that night, she revealed herself to me as she appeared to me when I was little. Pin straight black hair with the brightest blue eyes, tall and skinny, yet muscular enough to lift the child up with ease. She called herself Hecate and said that she's always been with me, protecting me. She was the one who saved my life twice, but now it's been physically actualized through the tattoo that I am one of her children too. And Mama Bear will always come out to fight for her cubs. That being said, now we get into the real story. Yes, this was all just a lead up for the actual story. Let me eat some pretzels, because bitch. Yes, I eat my pretzels like this. Leave me alone. I'm a whole child. 4 years after leaving that cult and 2 years into my witchy journey, I begin to involve myself with this guy. Oh, God. I was hoping I could not read about a stupid relationship because I feel like it's going to go wrong. It never goes right in these stories. I'm in my early 20s at this point, so admittedly, I was very naive when it came to dating. Given how I grew up, I was still heavily conditioned to think that abuse was okay. So sad. After all, you can't decondition 17 years of abuse in a small frame of time. I didn't see how abusive he was until I became disabled and could no longer support him. That is crazy. I'm so sorry you had to go through all of this in life. It's pretty easy to keep up a belief front when life is good. Bit by bit, his facade faded and we ended up fighting more. Whenever he would yell at me, his ears would turn red, and immediately afterwards, he would start screaming about how his ears hurt and there was this loud ringing in them. After some time, without me even saying anything, he would apologize and his ears weren't red or hurting anymore afterwards. That's Hecate for real. The more physical he got with me, the more my goddess would hurt him without even lifting a finger. The relationship devolved into a domestic violence situation where I had to escape for my life. That is so sad. He ended up pushing me out of my wheelchair onto the floor. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm so sorry that you had to go through this. He had a knife in his other hand. As he stated, "You're not gonna leave me. Even if you did, no one would want you." Excuse me? I wish a nigga would say some shit like that to me. Child. I phoned a friend, blacked out, and woke up on my cousin's couch. Wait, what? IDK if it's just too traumatic to remember, but I truly don't know how I ended up there. I planned when and how I was going to retrieve my stuff from our apartment and how to break the lease. The day that my friend and I went to get the stuff, I came prepared with a spell in mind, and I brought some special oil that I make to make spells really stick. Essentially, I wrote down every nasty thing he did to me on a notepad of his that said First Watch. Okay. IDK if you're from where I'm from. So First Watch is the name of a breakfast franchise here. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that is. I wrote down all the physical abuse, the mental, the emotional, everything. I channeled it all into this notepad. Then I put return to sender ×3. Honestly, the return to sender shit, child, very powerful. And honestly, anyone can do that. In terms of like, there's so many ways to do it, but this is smart, very smart. Drew specific symbols for my goddess and put the oil onto the notepad. Mind you, this boy had been out of a job for months and was avidly looking for one. The friend that helped me move out was a manager at a First Watch and also floated around to others in the area that needed help. One day after I did my spell, my ex walks in for an interview at a First Watch that my friend just so happened to be helping out that day. He ain't getting that job, baby. So that's not the one she's normally at. After he's done with his interview, she tells the managers that he tried to kill his disabled girlfriend and he gets blacklisted from working at all of their restaurants. Yikes! I hear that every job he had down here since then had fired him in less than a month. This happened 4 times in a row before he eventually got evicted and became homeless because he couldn't pay rent. Ooh. Then he had to drive up to California to live with his parents. But on the drive up to Cali, he got into a huge car wreck and totaled his car. Oh, Hekate, baby. Yikes. He spent some time in the hospital and eventually made it up to Cali, but not before losing everything first. Haven't really cared to check in on him since, and it's been years. So don't hurt a witch because you don't know who protects them or how far their protectors are willing to take it. Let me know if you want any more stories because I have lots to share. So she wrote back. It's very, very short. But y'all, when I'm telling y'all, if someone ever tells you, oh, I, work with Santa Muerte or Hecate, I'm not playing, y'all. Just be as nice as possible to these people. That was funny because I know there's people watching this like, well, God is all good. Okay. I've said numerous times on my channels, right? Deities, well, the good ones anyway, are akin to God. They are here as a spiritual, how do I explain? A spiritual mediator between us and God. For those of you guys who refuse to open your mind and read a book and, all of that, don't understand that. But when someone says I work with, I serve or whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean that they replace God or they do not believe in God. For some people, it does, though. But for a majority of people are spiritually inclined and understand, they know that whoever it is, like Allah, whoever, okay, whoever their supreme being is the supreme being. That's it. But when it comes to those Hecate, Santa Muerte, people that mess with those people, they don't fucking play. Especially Santa Muerte. Santa Muerte just likes to kill people. I don't want to say it like that, but like she don't play. Like literally, if you fuck with her people enough, like death is in your future. That's the best way to say that, right? In terms of Hecate, she's very much the same. She don't play about her kids. I'm very happy that you got out of that toxic situation. I'm very happy that he is getting his karma because that's what the fuck he deserves. It is what it is. I mean, he didn't die though. So I guess that's good, but everything else, he deserved it. So this is what she wrote back. So I forgot to mention that the spell I did, I essentially just told my goddess that she could deal with him as she pleased. I had no intention of doing extreme harm. I was just returning his karmic energy because it is not mine to carry. Given that, Hecate presides over the souls of the dead and many other things. I think he got off pretty easy. Me too. I think he got off pretty easy too. It's funny because a lot of people would probably deem that as black magic. It's not. It's one of those things where it's like somebody's fucking with you that bad. Somebody's inhibiting your quality of life. Sometimes you do have to do something about it. Whether you ask God, an ancestor, or a deity to handle it, I feel like that is a form of taking care of yourself and protecting yourself, just like a restraining order or anything else would be. Now, when you start saying, hey, I want this person to die, that's when you're like, okay, all right, you're treading into the black magic waters. I absolutely love this story. Probably one of the very few that actually has a happy ending. I ain't gonna hold you. As soon as I heard relationship, I said, oh, here we go. I don't want to hear nothing about people being crazy or stupid in a relationship because it's just always really sad to me that a lot of people are abused by their partners and, aren't treated the way they should be. So I'm happy you got out of that. Thank you so much for sharing your story. That story was not as long as I thought it was going to be quite honest with you. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you would like to share your stories, please make sure you send them to this email right here on the screen. It will also be down below for your convenience. With that being said, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to see y'all next time. Bye.